Welcome, my Algebra 1 students. We're going to talk about Lesson 45, and that's range, median, mode, and mean. So when we talk about a list of numbers, we want to do a little bit of analysis on them. One of the things that we talk about is range. Range just means the span of the numbers that we're using. So in order to find the range, you take the highest number and you subtract the lowest number that's on the list. Say, for instance, we had 5 test scores, and they were 80, 88, 75, 93, and 71. In order to find the span, we would take the highest number, which is 93, and we would subtract the lowest number, which is 71, and we would end up with a range of 22. So you can see that is, think about the number line. When you think about range, we would have 71 here and 93 here. If I could actually write the number. And the span of numbers, the range of numbers, goes from 71 all the way to 93. And from here to here is 22 numbers. So that is what the range is illustrating. The range is telling us how much space this set of numbers takes up on the number line. Okay? So that is range. Now, if we were to take this same set of numbers and ask ourselves, what is the median? Well, median is a number that means in the middle. So the median, we would take these numbers and we would find the number in the middle. Okay, so in this case, you're going to take the numbers and you're going to write them in numeric order. So we have 71, then 75, then 80, then 88, then 93. So we find the one in the middle, and the one in the middle is 80 because there are 5 numbers here. All we have to do is take off one off of each end until we get to the middle number. So the one in the middle is 80. Well, what if we had a set of numbers that were an even number? So let's say we had 2, 4, 8, 1, 3, and 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we want to find the median of this set of numbers. We would write them again in numeric order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. And we would find the middle pair. So we take off the first one and the last one, the next one and the next one, and we're left with these 2 numbers in the middle. There's not a number in the middle because there's an even quantity. So what we would do to find the median when we have an even number of digits here is we would add the 2 middle numbers together and divide them by 2. So 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So in this case, 3.5 would be the median. But if you have an odd number of values, whatever number is in the middle, that is the one that is the median. All right, another thing that we look for is mode. Let's say that we have another number in this list, and that number is 71. All right, so this number, we have 71 once and 71 twice. When we have a number that's used more than once, the number that is used the most is the mode. So the mode is the number that is used the most. So in this case, we have a 71 here and a 71 here. There's two 71s. That would be the mode. If I had a list of numbers, let me see. I have 16, 14, 12, 27, 31, 16, 11, 12, and 16. Well, 12 is used twice, but 16 is used 3 times. So that means that 16 would be the mode because it is used the most number of times. Now, if I had 12 again over here, then I would have 2 modes. You can have more than one mode if you have more than one number that are used the same amount of times and it is the highest number used. Okay, so if I have 3 different numbers and they're all used 3 times, then I have 3 modes. And it's perfectly okay to do that. All right, now let's talk about the mean. The mean is just another word for average. That is all it is. So let's take these grades we started with up here. We had 80, 88, 75, 93, and 71. That's a 9. The mean, being the average, means you just add these up. So 8, that's 8 again, that's 16, 17, carry the 1, 16, 17, 24, 33, 40. So we have a total of 407 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So we divide that by 5 and we say 8, that's 40. Bring down the 7, that's 1. And then that's going to be 4. So our average or our mean would equal 81.4. And all you have to do is add these up. It is the sum of all numbers divided by the quantity of all numbers. So however many, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the quantity of all numbers. That's what we used right here. The sum of all numbers is what we used right here. Okay? So those are your 4 things that we're going to be looking for when we start analyzing data. And we're going to be analyzing data to put on charts. So range is the highest number minus the lowest number. That's what equals the range. The median equals the number in the middle. Okay? The number in the middle. And the mode is the number that's used the most, and you can have more than one if they're used the same number of times. And then the mean is just the average. You add up all of the numbers and then you divide by the quantity of the numbers. You count them. It's the count of all the numbers. And that's all you have to worry about are those 4 things. And I think that is all we're talking about in lesson 45. So let me give you some example problems. Remember to take your notes. If you haven't, pause the video and write them down. And I'm going to give you an example problem here. If I can get this to clear. All right. So, a freight company receives a shipment of 8 cats and 1 cow. Their weights in pounds are, this is the cats, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, and 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 cats and 1 cow, and the cow weighs 800 pounds. All right, so we need to find the range, median, mode, and mean. So first we start by arranging them in numeric order. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 twos. So 1, 2, 3, 4 twos. And then 1, 2, 3 threes. 1, 2, 3 threes. And 1 4. And then we have the cow. So what is their range? So we have the lowest number, which is 2, and the highest number, which is 800. So we say 800 minus 2 is going to equal 798. That is the range. Okay? The lowest number, the highest number minus the lowest number. That's the range. All right, so now let's find the mode. So what number is used the most? We have 3 threes, but we have 4 twos. So 2 is the mode. Now let's find the median. All right, so this is first one, second one, third one, fourth one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I didn't include this one, that's why. So if we have 9 numbers, then we could take 4 off the front and 4 off the back, and the one that would leave 1 in the middle. So let's take the 4 off the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means that this is the median. That is the middle number. So 3 is equal to the median. So there's not really a whole lot of math involved. Not until we get to this point. Let me pull up my calculator. The most math you'll have to deal with is when you find the mean or the average. So what we're going to do is we're going to add all these numbers together. So you have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 800 equals 821. All right, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. So we divide 821 by 9, and we get 91.222222. So our mean, we'll say 91.2 repeating, is our mean. Now, a lot of times you may not have access to this repeating decimal, and if you don't have access, just write it as a single decimal, and that's fine. That is all we have to do, and actually the book puts 2 decimal places, 91.22 as the mean. And that's it. That's all we would do for this problem. And that's 45.1. So you can see all you need to do is write down the numbers, and then you could perform the operations. So let's do 45.2. I'm just going to erase this. All right, let's get started. 45.2 says this. The scores on the test were 86, 93, 60, 66, 95, 83, 85, and 78. Those are the scores. So we need to find the range, mode, median, and mean. So the range It's going to be the highest number minus the lowest number. So let's rearrange these in numeric order. Our lowest number is 60. Then we have 66. Then we have 78. Then we have 83, 85, 86, 93, and 95. All right, so now they're in alphabetical order from least to greatest. So we're going to take the highest number, which is on this end, subtract the lowest number, which is on this end. So the range is 35. All right, the mode. Do we have a number that's used more than once? There is no mode because every number is unique. All right, so now what about the median? What number is in the middle? Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means we're going to have to do a little math. So we take the two center numbers, add them together, and divide by 2. So 83 plus 85 is going to equal 168 divided by 2. The median is going to equal 84. And I'll tell you a secret. If you have two numbers right next to each other and they're just one digit off, like 83 and 85, you don't even have to do any math. You can just pick the number that's right in the middle, which would be 84, right? You can see that that's going to be in the middle of those two. So you don't have to add them together and divide by 2. You can just pick it if it's obvious. If it's not obvious, if they're two completely different numbers and they're several digits off from one another, then of course add them and divide by 2. But you can just look at a situation like this and say, oh, my median is going to be 84. All right. Now the only thing left is the mean, and that is the average. So let me erase this little bit right here. All right, and we're going to pull up my calculator, and we're going to clear this out, and we're going to add all these together. So 60 plus 66 plus 78 plus 83 plus 85 plus 86 plus 93 plus 95 equals 646. And we have 8 numbers, so we divide that by 8. And we get 80.75. So 80.75 is the mean of these numbers, or the average of all the scores. All right, do you see how that kind of works? The most math you'll do is for the mean, which is the average. So let's do one more, and then we will move on. 45.3. I'm going to use a different color. So the mean of 5 numbers is 10. So we have the mean of 5 numbers, and that equals 10. 4 of the numbers are 2, 8, 11, and 14. What is the 5th number? So the 5th is what? So if the average of 5 numbers is 10, we can take 10 and multiply it by 5 to get the total before it was averaged. So we'll say 5 times 10 equals 50. All right, so this is the sum of all of the numbers that were added together. And this is the number, the quantity of numbers. So it would have looked like this. It would have said 50 over 5, which would have been divided and given us 10 is the mean. All right, that's what the problem would have looked like. So we need to know this number right here in order to find out what the 5th number is. So we just back up. We say, okay, well, I don't know what this is, So 5 times this number has to be 50. So 50 is our total before it was averaged. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this total, we're going to subtract all of these numbers. So let's add these numbers together. So 2 and 8, that's going to be 10, plus 11 is 21, plus 14 is going to be 35. So if we take 50 and we subtract 35, we're left with 15. So the fifth number equals 15. And here's how you check that to see if you're right. So we add up these numbers. 2 plus 8 equals 10. Okay, check, check. Plus 11 equals 21. Check. Plus 14 equals 35. Check. Plus 15, which would be our fifth number, equals 50. Check. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So we divide that by 5. That looks just like where we started. Equals 10 for your mean. So because this matches this, whichever one, we know that we have the right number, and that number, the fifth number, is 15. All right? Very good. All right, so that is all we have for lesson 45, is the range, the mode, the median, and the mean. So be sure to write down the definitions and the examples for each one. And I'll see you in lesson 46.